Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And this is the K-pop challenge of the first season of Street Woman Fighter. Now, I am wearing something different than what you're gonna see me react to because this was a full live stream I did on YouTube recently, and I'm chopping it up to make it more accessible for people whenever I release it eventually on YouTube as well as on Patreon. For this battle that we're gonna take a look at, it's gonna be CocaNButter versus Hook. Also, I had not seen these videos prior to the analysis, so you're gonna see me get my initial reaction as well as just kind of do some comparing and contrasting between the choreographies, as well as take my personal pick of who I think took the battle. So, without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. All right. Oh, this is still on like 0.75. I'm assuming we all want to see it normal speed, right?
코카인버터의 댄스 비디오를 공개합니다. 두 크루 중 더 뛰어난 크루에 투표해 주세요.
Oh, hold on. I missed that beginning. Okay, mission with the four great queens to Hyuna.
댄스 비디오를
Hyuna.
두 크루 중 더 뛰어난
This will be fun. Hey. Okay. I only see 4 members. That probably means something has happened to a member. Maybe. Oh, that's a very interesting pose to finish and then go into a head eye someone. Oh. Okay. I really feel something happened with his crew, didn't it? Because we only see 4 and we always see minimum 5 members of a respective crew. Also, I really feel that there were some really big key movements missing, or it was not nearly as detailed as I feel like you would normally expect with that type of content. But we're gonna go ahead, let's take a look back at what we've watched. Let me see. Okay. So let's have a little look back here. How they started this was really good. Like, they set it up really well. Now, do I think it's pretty simplistic in the startup? Yes, I said that about YGX. I feel that whenever you repeat a movement more than 4 times, I really feel like you need to add something to it to keep somebody's attention versus, ooh, I'm trying to just fill up my time, you know? So that's just my big thing. I think I noticed that there already from the get-go. It also feels like they're doing a movement, then they're doing like a cute transition, and then they go into another movement. Like, that's what happened right here. In that case, they do end up doing this head pretty often in this choreo. They did it to transition over into the second song as well whenever they were in their straddle. Yeah. Well, I like the choice that they went boom, ch, up. Like, I think that was good. That one in particular was riding pretty closely to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like really taking up the half counts, which it does affect your choreographic difficulty here, you know. And I feel like you gotta have a level of, you know, we're professional dancers, but also we understand the assignment, right? I think like that's the whole point of this challenge is we're pros and we understand the assignment, and here's how you do it. You know, I just feel like it's a bit underwhelming is what I'm getting from this crew. Yeah. And I am not going to say it's because we only have 4 members, because you can captivate a lot of people with even one person. So having 4 people, that's 4 times the captivation potential, right? So I feel like just a lot of their movements that they're doing, I do like the fact that they have 2 dancers that are framing up top and then you have your lower. Like, I really like that. That's nice. Do I think they stay in this formation a little too long? I feel like it would have been nice to see a switch where those who are up would go down and vice versa, right? And then they all come back together, which is nice here. Yeah. But they're giving me very similar energy. That's such a Gen Z thing to say. It's giving, it does remind me a lot of Want with the details, like I mentioned in there, whenever I've just reacted to them. I really feel that there's a lot of details in the hands and in the upper body that aren't translating as effectively. When you have the type of material as your costume, it's unforgiving, right? In the sense of it can see every little bit because it's not black and it's shiny, so you're able to see a lot of more depth in what you're and who's wearing it. So look, notice right there. So instead of doing just the smooth, they went wanna. So they're matching the music over. They even extend the straddle even a little bit further as they come up, which is really cool. But that's another detail too. Notice that some of them still have their foot completely elevated, right? But then you have some where it's on the ground. So that's a really small detail, easy fix. Hey, are we gonna keep our leg up? Like, are we going to keep our leg up to suspend it to create more difficulty, or are we going to put it down to work on the line and how we want it to come across? Because the reason why those little details matter is because the range of the movement will not be as clean. So of course you have the actual execution of a movement is one thing, the range, so point A to point B, the time it takes to get there, that also is part of your cleanliness as well whenever you do look at these things. So I like how they looked around and she came up. That was a nice way to start a feature for somebody. Yeah. So I did look here. I would say I think this gray box shows up whenever it's the opposing team's choreo. Unlike the other, the season 2, the box came up both times, which made it easier. So I will say that did kind of spoil it for me. I did realize it was hooked because it showed up only here. And honestly too, looking here in this beginning, we saw Aiki battle with this sequence. Actually, she battled with this sequence, not to this song, but to like a what is it, perhaps I think it was that one, right? Yeah, so this is a really good example of it's just not nearly as clean as it really needs to be. It's not readable. I'm not able to read what's happening. Now it could be the choreo itself. Whenever we look at hook, I will really take a look at that. Yeah, it just looks like they're out of energy, or they're not giving 100% in usage of that groove or their core. You know what I mean? And I think like that's the big killer for me here. They're not making this choreo their own, I think, right? And that's my big reservation here. I know there's a little Harlem Shake there, but I like that they took this and now we have a completely different aesthetic underneath. Yeah, right there. It also looks like one of our dancers, it looks like she has KT tape on. So that's interesting. I hope she's okay. There's also a brace right here. Wow. Okay. So I know this is the season of injuries. We got a lot of people that get injured in this show, right? Pulling it up. I would just say the setups and each of their movements just take up too much time. Like I know they're hitting the Donna, but it also goes back to, I mean, you only got 2 minutes tops. Well, actually less than that. It's probably a minute 50, right? Minute 50 of your actual routine. And I feel that there's just a lot of wasted opportunity to really enhance or push your group further. It's really what it feels like, right? They throw it. And I honestly really liked the gimmick of them washing the floor with their robe. That was fun. Great use of prop. But even there, I mean, if you just look at the energy difference, she's really giving a lot more than she is. And I'm going to go back and we're going to look at that together. So like, look. Whenever they go, they throw it, they come up. Watch, she gives way more, right? That stuff matters in these challenges. It just feels like either she's tired or it just looks like she's not investing nearly as much energy. It could be because they had to shoot this multiple times, but look at this, just the whole range. I mean, this is great. You know, everybody's has their arms in the same spot, but here, there's no investment here, and that is killing the overall performance presentation that the group as a whole is supposed to be giving, you know? And that in this type of show, that can be the difference easily between a win and a lose for a crew. Regardless if you're clean or you have everyone's doing the same thing, you're not technically all doing the same thing. I would say she gave a lot more, so her timing ended up being off compared to the other three. So let's take a look there, because I think I just noticed that there. Look, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. Yeah, so she went da 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 da, and everybody, it just looked like they were lagging behind. But the walks, I like the walks at the end. 6. Yeah, so that's my overall note for CocaNButter. There is some left to be desired. It really feels like they looked tired, they looked fatigued. They did not look like they wanted to be there, some of them, honestly. So that's just were they the crew that I mentioned, what is it? Were they the crew that I mentioned that it looked like they were low on energy too? I wonder if that's the same crew. Okay, so we have seen CocaNButter. Now we got to see Hook take it on. I am curious what they're going to bring to the table. I know we've seen their section already. From CocaNButter, but now we get to see them do CocaNButter set.
현아의 미션곡으로 맞붙을 두 크루, 흑, 코카앤버터의 댄스 비디오를 공개합니다. 두 크루 중 더 뛰어난 크루에 투표해주세요.
Okay, Hook. Here we go. Look at them with the pink bobs. Hey! This doesn't stand out. I know this is CocaNButter's choreo. That was nice. Woo! Yeah. Those basket runs get me every time. Okay, they did a little bit of light feet there. Wow, that was cute. That was really cute. They're still going. Okay, so before anyone says anything about the number of people that they have, yes, they have 3 more people more than CocaNButter. Yes, that can affect the overall, they can do a lot more. That's true. But I will also counter with this. In the dance competition studio dance world, they have divisions in place where you have solo, duo, trio, and then you have small group, which ranges from 4 people to 9 people. So people with 4 compete a lot of times with people with 9. And then from there you have 10 to probably 16, 17. And then it goes from 17 to 22, 22 to God Bless America amount of people. So that's a really big thing I want you guys to factor in, is that in the real dance competition world, if you were like comparing groups, now you don't compare the exact mashup. That's another thing too that we can get into. But when you're competing against, like, it's 2 small groups competing against each other. So just because CocaNButter only had 4 people doesn't mean that they were automatically like, oh, we're gonna get something that's just not good. You know, you can rock it with 4 people. I just really feel like they didn't meet that challenge as much, probably from other circumstances, injuries, things like that. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. I know a lot of people were like, oh, this is probably unfair because of the number. Technically, no. I mean, because it was, you know, this is the show, right? And this is kind of the demands of what comes with the show. They're not going to make concessions and have people set out from hook just for the sake of making both crews even. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just my little note there. Now, do I feel like Coke was able to do a lot more with the song? Absolutely. But also, I'm gonna just go back. But also take note though that they captivated in their performance quality on top of it. And a lot of it didn't come from the numbers, because you can run into the same problems that CocaNButter had with this amount. You'd have it with 15 people and it would probably be given the same energy. You know what I mean? So it's something really important to note there, just in my from an empathetic perspective. I like that, the little boom, 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 boom. I'm the female monster. Now, technically, yes, this is Hyuna, but this was 4 minute. So if you were a Gen 2 K-pop fan like myself, you do know that Hyuna was a part of a group called 4 Minute. And this song is from that group, but this is her here. And this peel-up was really cool. So I want you to take note that they went from low to high, and that's why that worked really well. She's touching her butt. Just find that funny. But notice that she's really low and then it slowly comes up to a higher, and that's what makes that look really nice. And then you have your setup in the back. So that's fun. Oh, I keep going into full screen, but yeah, I like that. Like that's really, I like the energy. It matched really well with that back build up right before the drop happens. That was fun. I will say one of our dancers, I think she came up just a little bit too late there. I'm going to double check that before we move on, see if that's the case. Yeah, so she kind of came up a different way. I think she came up at the same time, but she came up in a different way. Yes, that does affect the cleanliness. If everybody's supposed to come up the same way and you have one person who doesn't, it looks like that they either like lost their balance or they weren't in the right. It's just not as clean, right? I love that. Boom. C-R-A-Z-Y. Yeah. Also take note too, I really like the fact that everybody is wearing the hot pink bobs. Such an energy. I love it. But also not everybody's wearing the exact same thing. That does help in this case because everybody has their own sense of individuality, but not taking away from the group as a whole. They're using the color of the hair as well as the hair type as well as the color of the outfit. In their shoe color too are all white. They look like a crew, you know, which is really nice, but without looking too uniform, because this isn't one of those types of routines, right? Now that was just if you notice here, that formation was just a tad bit off. I would say my center, because yeah, right here. So if you look, you have your 2 here, you have your 3, but she should have been actually right here. Look at my beautiful stick figure person. And then these windows she would have needed to have moved over a little bit, like so. So that's just it's just little things like that. But then they spread out. Now there's those basket runs. I've already talked about this before. We know this is CocaNButter's set because of the little gray box that we see here. These basket runs, I've said this. I have unreleased Dance Rank Mission content from Street Woman Fighter 1 already on Patreon. If you're like, Jessica, why are we watching the K-pop and not Dance Rank Mission? Because I've already watched it. So that's why this is technically, I'm in order right now. But I've said many, many times in the Mega Cruise, And also whenever we do any sort of transition anywhere and you see a crew do a basket run, for me, I'm like, that's a wasted opportunity. Because for me, in my particular training and judging mega crews, now I'm not projecting my judgment of how I judge mega crews onto here. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that whenever you have a group and they choose to do a basket run, it is clean. It does help with your cleanliness, but it is not the most effective choice you could have done to get from point A to point B, because there are so many, there's some arms that you can do. There's some other, like, you can build up with the body. You can maintain energy in your transition just as much as in your main content. And that's what I was touching on with battles. Whenever you see somebody who's really fluent in the battle toolkit, you're really able to see that and emulate that. And you can tell, like, wow, they really care about all of their set, not just the core movements that you're noticing or the fingerprints of the moves that you're noticing in the set. So that's just my, like, big note. They do this a lot out of most crews. I think they're the ones that do the basket run the most that I've seen. But this is so fun. Like they're hitting the energy really well here. And they're clean. This is very clean. Right. I like that with the single and then the double. That was nice. Now that's another thing too, is you had all four from CocaNButter land the same way, but they did not land the same way. I wonder too, because it looks really nice here. I wonder, like, because they have a lot more people, could they have gotten away with having 4 of their 7 members do it, the choreo, and then they had other people frame around it? Or did they have to have everybody do the same move to really showcase this is the choreo? I don't know, but they did technically do it. This was mad cool. I love this. Yeah. So that was a really cool choice in how they chose to set that up. That was fun. Yeah, that Yeah, so this is Hook section through and through. Because I did see Hook's leader do a very similar sequence in their battles. So that's what that could also attest to. Did she bite herself, or did she plagiarize herself in her battles? If this was recorded before then, I don't know. I'm assuming this was recorded after because of the sequence of the show filming, not the show like how it's been seen. But there's those basket runs again. That's what I'm telling you, is that you have this sequence of people in the front, but then you have these 2 people. Of course, they're symmetrical, and I know they don't want to take away from what's happening in the group, but I really feel like there could be something else happening to help frame or enhance what they're doing a lot more effectively than just a basket run, you know? Yeah. This is really cute. The they're just making really cool groove choices that I really like. It just makes me in what they're doing, you know? And I think that's a really big point to make here as well. Nice little Harlem Shake. I'll say they did keep it pretty isolated up at the top, but because of the context of what they did before and after, that's why that works. That was nice with it. Yeah, they let the reverberation of the hair help with that. Just a nice little box step, but they framed it really well to kind of go, hey, and then they're hitting the drums in the back. Super fun. The performance here is really important, and I think that's like a really big thing Hook has going for them in their battles that I've seen, as well as here, and what and I also saw in their crew performance. Like, I made my whole little crew preview of everybody and seeing their performance there. They have really great personality, and they know how to not take things too seriously, and sometimes that's really needed in shows like this. And so I really like their personality showing through. It just makes it really enjoyable to watch. Yeah. And that's interesting that they chose to do a little trot into a lock-in. There wasn't really any context before that lock-in. That red light feed to me, but the lock-in specifically does. But it wasn't a lock-in as a form of we're finished, because normally those are done in light feet to finish your set. So it's kind of like a fake out. And then also the framing's nice here, but I will say, because we have 3 dancers on this side, we do have one of them a little too far back, and then we have our dancer here, then we have our 2, then we have our 2 here. So it's either, I'm hopeful that they're in between the windows, because then that would make sense, but one of our dancers is pushed too far out to the outside if they're supposed to be creating columns. But then we have a prep of the lift. Sometimes when you have people in the front doing stuff, it's to distract the audience from seeing what's going on in the back. Really good crews know how to really play that off and turn your lift into a surprise, you know? But yeah, and I will say for the amount of prep on that lift for what ended up happening is a bit underwhelming for me. But I do love the personality that she's projecting front here. There you go. Cross, hit, cross, hit. Bring it back. Yep. Nice. They're doing some like hip hop old school. They're doing some chugs here. Yeah, I mean, all in all, like some of these dancers are a little bit stiff in that torso, melting down into the line, but they are maintaining and holding down the line, which is really good. Yeah, so they're doing some cross, so they're going some tic-tac-toes is what they're doing, and to finish into, instead of doing an actual lock-in, they push it back. I think is what ended up happening. Yeah, how they chose to do it is they didn't pop up. They went and they pushed back. That was fun. Meltdown. And then you have one of our dancers. I want you to know, look, she is like reverbing, or she's like really vibrating it so hard. And I know all of them are, but I just really noticed it from her. That was mad fun. I really like that. Man, okay. Now, if I were to make and place my vote, I would choose Hook for this one because I really like their costume a lot. I mean, I liked CocaNButter's costume too, but I do feel like, and they did choose to utilize it in a good way, but their costume really did not help them in some of their grooves. I will also say Hook really used their formations, their numbers to their advantage here. Their performance quality was probably one of the best I've seen coming from the show in general. I really like their performance quality up here, how they captivate you through their personality as a group. That's a really big thing that helps in shows like this when you have camera work, and part of it is from your face, right? So I would say, like, I really feel like CocaNButter didn't utilize as many opportunities that Hook did within their piece, and I feel like this was a pretty large margin win for Hook. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful in some way. If you want more Street Woman Fighter content, whether it's season 1 or season 2, you can head over to Patreon to get ad-free content as well as early release. As I record videos, I post them there first. Also, there is a chance that some of these clips that you see from any challenges, they may be copyrighted and blocked on YouTube. They are unblocked on Patreon. If there's a particular challenge you wanted me to look at, it may be there. So you can definitely check that out. But I'm always looking forward to the discussions on these videos, and this one is no different. And I will check you guys on the flip side. Bye.